I'm not somebody who's easy to scare. Stories about the paranormal just don't get to me because I'm not a believer in any of that. So it came as quite a surprise when Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, a Korean film about a group of live streamers who journey into an asylum haunted by spirits, managed to scare me more than any other movie has been able to. 2 Halloweens ago, I scoured the internet, looking on threads, articles, and top 10 videos for what are considered to be some of the scariest movies of all time. I watched Hereditary, Sinister, The Conjuring, The Exorcist, Insidious, The Descent, and more, but none of them came close to putting me into the same emotional state as I was in when I was watching Gonjiam. It's the only movie I've ever wanted to pause to give myself a breather from the terror. It's the only movie that I've ever felt true anxiety while rewatching, in anticipation of its scares. Gonjiam Haunted Asylum is not a very original film. It doesn't really do anything new. It's a standard found footage horror film showing people investigating a haunted site and finding out the hard way that the ghost stories about it are true. It's the same formula that the Blair Witch Project pioneered 25 years ago. So what is it about this foreign film that puts it so far above all these other highly regarded horror classics for me? Well, it boils down to 3 aspects of the film that it simply perfects: momentum, the uncanny, and variety. But before I get into that, drop a comment about which horror movie scared you the most. If I haven't seen it, I might check it out and cover it in a later video. Alright, let's get to it. Momentum. I can name a lot of horror movies that have one terrifying standout moment, but otherwise fail to deliver on the scares. I can name a lot of horror movies that go insanely hard at the beginning or the middle, but just disappoint later on. Gonjiam Haunted Asylum is a different beast. The beginning of this movie is admittedly pretty boring. The first hour or so is investigators meeting up, setting up camp, and putting up cameras on the asylum, all while seeing and hearing weird things inside that aren't necessarily paranormal yet. But my god, when the real haunting begins, it does not let up. It's 30 minutes of non-stop terror and chaos. What enables Gonjiam to hold its momentum for so long is the fact that there are 7 different people filming. The movie is able to show each and every one of them being tormented and taken out, back to back, without a single dull moment in the final half hour. A pet peeve I have with other horror movies is when the entities haunting someone just torment them for a little bit and then disappear for no reason, only to come back and torment them a little more later. That's the way a lot of horror movies that focus on just a few characters try to pepper scares throughout so that the movie doesn't get boring, but it really doesn't work for me. As soon as you realize that everyone will be fine after these brief encounters with the spirit, you stop fearing for the character's safety because you know they're not under threat. And when you're not fearing for the characters, you're not experiencing fear. The people in Gonjiam don't get this luxury. You know when watching that every encounter could be their last. The tension and stress never goes away. Even when you think the movie is over because everyone is gone, it still doesn't let up. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The uncanny. If you Google scary face, this frame from Gonjiam Haunted Asylum appears pretty high up in the results. Most people will feel a sense of unease when looking at this. Why is that? It's because of a psychological phenomenon known as the uncanny valley. Basically, that means as the appearance of an object or character approaches looking like a human, but is ever so slightly off, your brain fires off signals and experiences fear as a defense mechanism. It's theorized that we developed this reaction to not fall for the appearance of inhuman things that resemble humans, or to make us stay away from sick people. It's also the reason why we can still tell that an ultra high fidelity, photorealistic CGI model of a person is CGI without exactly being able to pinpoint and explain why. I believe the uncanny valley is the most underutilized tool in horror. It works so well because it's universal. For example, not everyone has arachnophobia, so creature designs based on a spider won't creep a lot of people out. Same goes for most monsters. Generally speaking though, everyone is going to be unsettled by a human face in the uncanny valley. Gonjiam Haunted Asylum has a trick up its sleeve that makes this work so well in the movie: fisheye lenses. All of the investigators are wearing front-facing and rear-facing cameras to get their reactions on the stream. The ones pointed at their faces are closer to a wide angle or fisheye lens, which distorts their face based on which parts are closer to the camera. As a result, you get a face that appears misshapen with unnaturally large eyes. It looks weird enough on its own, but the one change of the blackened out eyes is such a simple trick that pushes her face deep into the uncanny valley. But it's not just the visuals that are uncanny, the sound design is as well. Instead of an ear-piercing scream or a loud noise that makes you jump, this face is accompanied by an extremely unsettling fast whispering. I've seen it described as anti-ASMR or slurping evil spaghetti, and I'm not going to play it here. It's really something you should experience for yourself if you're looking to get creeped out, but this is just the tip of the iceberg for what Gonjiam has to offer. Variety. Don't show too much of the monster is horror filmmaking 101. The more you show your creature, the less impact it has on the audience. Fear of the unknown is a powerful tool. Jump scares work because you aren't expecting them. When you know what to expect and when it's coming, there is no fear. Gonjiam Haunted Asylum manages to circumvent this issue, which, if you haven't seen the movie, you might think is odd considering it's just human ghosts. How varied can they really get in their appearances and attacks on the protagonists? That's exactly what they want you to think. That creepy face I just mentioned, it really doesn't show back up, so the entire time you're experiencing fear that your eyes and ears are about to be bombarded by that monstrosity again as the spirits draw nearer to the characters, only for the movie to freak you out in a different way each and every time. The uncanny face is immediately followed up by a girl locked in a room, shining her flashlight on this contorted man in the distance facing away from her, with what seems to be his spine on the outside of his body. Every time she turns away to try to open the door locking her in, the man is in a different position, moving in bizarre ways, and getting closer to her for what feels like an eternity, and you anticipate in terror some freakish figure lunging at the screen, but don't know when. This was actually the point in the movie that I felt the urge to stop it and give myself a breather. That's how intense it is. There's a lot more to Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, but I don't want to spoil every scare. This is a movie that I absolutely recommend you watch for yourself, and you can for free on Tubi. Its content isn't disturbing, so you won't be traumatized, just really strongly freaked out for a while. And isn't that what we all want in a horror movie? Thanks for watching.